A low-budget clandestine publication, somewhere between fanzine and paperback. The author's name is listed on the first page as Ji Cheng Wang. As it must be, this is a genre of literature neither written nor consumed by respectable individuals. It consists of some 60 pages of text, followed by an appendix with cut-out schematics for the body of the gun. The instructions specify materials for a 6-shot pipe gun with push feed. 500-gram hard plastic melted down, 1 coin 10mm diameter, 1 broomstick or wooden dowel, 1 aluminium can, tools, glue, and plywood. The precarity of anything resulting from these materials is self-evident. Ball bearings. Yes, and it is up to you to scavenge it all. A fair amount of this stuff is lying around the workbench in photo 24. You have definitely seen sheets of plywood, work tools, and a broom there. Ostensibly a how-to guide, it doubles as a philosophical inquiry into the subject of firearms ethics. There are times in the conduct of human affairs when it becomes necessary to wang someone or something. This is a reality. There are, however, some preliminary considerations to disseminate. Are you asking yourself whether you should or should not use the information in this book to build yourself a highly illegal firearm? Alas, there are many such decisional pitfalls in our world. Law-abiding individuals are treated with the utmost derision. If this book could wang 'em all, it would. It goes on extensively, the tone veering back and forth between sardonic hand-washing and outright murder advocacy. Probably not. Do you want to? Wang is the theory, and Wang is the practice. Building it will be the test of fire. A shade in a leather jacket thrusts a decapitated head towards the reader, its lolling tongue and dripping viscera a promise of what's inside. The deity acknowledges its supplicant. Your heart rate ratchets up a joyful notch. Jagged metal, independently published metal. Hombre Hombre, Volume 5, Issue 8. Black and white panels whip by, almost animated like a flip book by the motion of your thumb. A word bubble filled with scratchy handwriting conjures a raspy voice in your mind's ear. a polyp on the perineum of society. The clawed fist hitting a pulped face, the violence itself off-panel, but somehow made visible by the suggestion of the word Krish in a sickly bold font. A figure, man, woman, or demon, it's unclear, being consumed by shadows, swallowed alive, screaming. It wasn't a guy, it was a moon cultist, part of the wicked cabal responsible for killing his companion and lover, Aurelia Mist, the healer with the transplanted hands of a dual-wielding assassin. At least he did, before Aurelia was murdered by the moon cult. This isn't even the best arc. Wait until he finally masters shadow puppetry in Volume 6. You pause on a splash panel, huge, taking up the entire 2-page spread. The ombre stands in a pool of swirling water, a tiny ocean floating in a void of liminal space. The towers of the sunlit city stretch towards the empty sky. Their basements flooded, massive fish splayed atop their roofs, gasping for air. Before him, a red cloak, in the shape of his own silhouette, his own body bag, rises out of the water, inviting him to enfold himself inside. The longer you look, the more details are revealed to you. A tiny face hidden in the brushstrokes that define a pool of water, the intricate brickwork on a horizon line building. Flipping the magazine open to where its bindings hold the pages together, your eyes are filled with a horizontally oriented image, the comic's glorious cover, blown up in size. You clutch the center pages in one hand, balancing the magazine in your opposite palm. The staples, seemingly so flimsy, refuse to budge. An ugly fissure appears in the paper at the top of the centerfold. Stop. Stop. You're killing him. The damage has already been done. Any value this volume might have had on the collector's market, obliterated in a second. The astringent chemical stink of cheap ink curls your delicate nostril hairs. The comic inks aren't even going to give you a head rush, but the nostalgia factor is undeniable.
You're back again.
The GM gives you the most... The brightly colored... It's not been long since you both... The refreshments... The iron railing sagged beneath your elbows when Tempo leaned on it beside you.
Fag.
You take the proffered cigarette, light it on the flame that follows. He points his own at a group of men standing on the gangway, overseeing the last arrivals for the night. Representatives of whichever syndicate happened to control illegal imports at that time.
Docks are wasted on these cunts. There are two classes of people like us, them who know how business works, and them who know how culture works. Not enough of us, sadly. We don't form a class. Business up there with the silly cunts, culture down here between the cracks. Oh, I will. It's all in the works, Herschel. Hey, cunts! Watch your backs.
The figures turn to look, and the two of you vanish laughing into the night. The man doesn't turn as you approach, your feet echoing off the high metal.
Quite the commotion you caused with your pursuer. You did admirably, I'd say, considering he had been following you for a while. You've come a long way. Fortunately, the view just about compensates. I'm being punished. My employer has placed me in an impossible position.
You recognize the patch sewn into his trousers. It's the Carril de Portoferro's logo, the oldest transit company in the city.
I'm a safety inspector, watching the lines. As you might have noticed, this pylon is under construction, technically. It's my role to ensure the lines and pylons are all built according to code. And this line, Line 9, will never be finished. Where to start? This pylon's angle deviated more than expected as the concrete set. Hazardous near water. Shouldn't have skimped on materials. Then there are the clearance issues. The party alley rooftops are higher than the building department's official records.
These aero trams would shear those right off.
I could falsify my reports and declare Line 9 safe for construction anyway, or I could quit. Either way, the company can't lose. That's a shame. You'll be in the perfect place to ponder your problems, and maybe alleviate them. Fortunately, this spot lends itself to reflection. Contemplating my punishment helped me see how to live with it.
Whatever thoughts you tried to summon are carried away by the wind whistling through the metal.
That's not how it works. But maybe next time.
The crisp air sends a pleasant tingle through your abdomen.
I can't say that I have. But that's quite troubling. Why do you ask?
Whatever lies you tell have a low chance of reverberating here.
Not as such, but There was some unsettling activity around here a few weeks back. A barge pulled up to the old building, southeast of here. It was the middle of the night. They cut the engine before approaching the waterlock. I almost missed them entirely.
Bodies are harder to move than you'd expect. Ample space for a person, plus cushioning and dampening material.
My apologies. Sometimes specificities get the better of me. A few seconds later, and they were gone. Went into the building, I have to assume. I can't be sure. You can't see the entrance from up here. A friend of yours? Oh.
This man's punishment may be of his own making. Terror to most, but for those with a taste for it.
Do you hear that? It's the sound of a city crying out. The light is a terrible drill, pressed into the street's exposed nerves. They beg for the relief of night. The light is too many sycophants. What the city needs is an acolyte of gloom. Practitioners of your craft understood that once.
You hear a great rustling, a million trench coats unfolding like moth wings.
Before the age of agencies and ledgers, the first spies communed with the dark. Your progenitors knelt before the umbral host. So the stories suggest. Molecular ghosting, localized eclipses, umbral tentacles. The spooks of old wore the night like a second skin.
Shadows are not a substance, and subatomic tunneling is a quantum event, not a lifestyle choice.
All around, darkness recedes. Gone are the old ways, scorched by the glare of satellite pings and high-lumen flashlights. That is why the host calls upon you. Be the shroud the city needs. Walk the streets, snuffing out lanterns and hope. Be an acolyte of gloom and spread the word. Liquid night envelops you. You pour forth.
The gate is bound to the pole by a thin steel chain. The gap between leaves little room for passage. Rust speckles your fingertips. A system compromised at the subatomic level. You push the gate. The metal creaks, but it doesn't move. It's held fast by a rusty chain. Take the chain between the beak of our tool and crunch it dead. The chain resists, trembles, then collapses in a jangling heap at your feet. Regards from the gang. The metal creaks and gives way. The chain lies bleeding out on the cobblestones. In another life, it would have been a serpent.
You, Carmona demands answers. Carmona saw you scaling that pylon, speaking to the creep at its top. He's been spying on us all, day in, day out. Are you in leagues with him? What is his business? Oh. Well, engineering is good work, proper. Though he doesn't seem to be doing much of it. Carmona knew he was off. But just a slacker all along. Carmona would not take comfort in that. Here. Some comfort in return. Take a look through the rack over there. No lice. No rips, no patches. Oh yes, bastardo! Is him turned the bazaar into the bootleg bazaar, drawing Lusians, irritating the local mob. It's all men fighting while Carmona sits. Haven't seen him or his assy assistant assing around for a while. They're probably shacked up somewhere, making the angels sick. He's not been himself. You know, he used to drink, then he stopped. Perhaps he slid back into the bottle without Carmona noticing. Every day he was at the shrine by the west gate, offering and praying. What business has a man like that with the stars? Carmona doesn't keep track of us in names. Who cares? She just smokes and skims clothes off the top of the shipments. Things we don't notice. And she's been collecting our payments for the last few weeks. Suddenly, we low people must tolerate a teenager managing the place on his behalf. I won't have it, Melina. She may run the bootleg bazaar, but she doesn't run her Doña Carmona. No! The poor man! Carmona always said he was a good soul.
No, she did not.
He was arrogant.
She hears herself, frowns.
Carmona never used such a word, and especially know about Mr. Temple. Poor dear Temple. You poor thing, Menina. He was a dear friend to Carmona, too. That poor thing. Legends clothes, Carmona calls them. Whatever has their favorite music on it. Lately, the Violetta girl is winning. Take a look, I have one. Well...
She lowers her voice, hunches forward.
The dock workers suspect that they found an agent of the Weeping Eye, working right here, in the bazaar. Found him taking Lucian money. Carmona doesn't believe it, though, Menina. They got the wrong man. He bought a beautiful coat from Carmona's stall just last week. A real gentleman. Nobody with the eye could be so polite or have such a good taste in outerwear.
The man who's been following you.
Garish. You call that garish? A coat from Carmona's own stall? A beautiful coat at that? You don't listen to any rumors about him, Menina. A nice man. Rude. Rudeness everywhere. The one you're wearing. I'm afraid so, Menina. They're Lucian, Menina. Bazaar's full of bootlegs. They're keeping an eye on their wares.
The Weeping Eye do not care about knockoff toys. If they're here, then something is happening way above this woman's head.
He was like a son to me, Menina. But no, never got his details. Very well. Afraid no, Menina. That poor girl.
She looks sideways at the disc, shakes her head.
It's a disc. Ask the stall owner with the disc, not the stall owner with the clothes. Yes? Is that what you are doing up on that pylon? Yes. Carmona knows a contemplation face when she sees it. You want to stop that, Menina? This entire bazaar is mistakes. Mistakes built on mistakes. People, too. You start contemplating. How are you to stop? Don't try it again. This bazaar is always changing. Lots to ask, lots to say. We're in the ruins of a silk numero 3. Burnt down decades ago. But Carmona still remembers the smell of the flames. Nestor.
Sweet Nestor, Portofiro's supreme leader from the years 28 to 80. He fled to an unknown location after being exiled for the third and apparently final time, though a small collection of loyalists await his return.
We used to paint that statue with all sorts of insults when it still stood. We knew slurs you haven't even imagined, Menina.
She sighs, nostalgic.
He promised us Nestorismo, a new type of politics, his own invention. A middle ground between the developed world and the superbloc. Ah, yes, I remember that one. But Bastardo Nestor thought Portofino could be different.
She jerks her chin over to the statue. Nestor's pondweed eyes stare up at the sky through a foot of rank canal water.
You see how it went? Another relic of Nestor's idiocy. Don't he go to space? Total disaster. He never really recovered from that one. And for what? Why go to space? All our stuff is already here.
Dismissing space exploration as a logistical inconvenience.
Kisa. This is the heart of the city. Ours is the factory and the docks. We are proud, working people. In the sunset, they make money. In Kisak, we make things. Back before Silk burned down, that is. But we are still proud, and we still have the docks. Portofino belongs to Kisak. People call it loose mania. The culture blockade was designed to protect the city from loose influence. But of course that just makes it more interesting to these people. That would be a terrifying world, Menina. People want all sorts of nonsense. Just let young people buy their fascist toys and wear their fascist clothes until they realize alone what fools they look.
Eyes flashing, voice lowered. Some sweet and succulent secret on the tip of her tongue.
They say all the Lusian ministers are copies of one old philosopher. You know what that really means? Oh yes, imprints. These are inbreds, Menina. Ever seen pictures of royal families? Hmm?
The vendor smushes her face with her hands, pulling at her chin and cheeks to deform them into new and exciting shapes.
That's how they look. Malformed from systemic diddling. Lusians just the same. Mark my words. That's why you never see them. Humoring an old woman. Doing your good deed for the day. Buffing up your soul. Is that so? Well, listen to your Aunt Carmona. It started with the fire in a silk numero 3. Half the city worked for that company, and all of us suddenly out of work. But at first it was exciting. The whole city came to watch it burn. We drank, we sobbed. I danced with a soldier boy, who I had no intention of marrying. He's dead now. The flames subsided, and we waited like refugees around the cooling break for management to return, rebuild. They never did, so we began to search the ruins, see what we could salvage. Yes, we loaded it up on the cargo boats as if it were dye. The dock workers found buyers, which turned them into smugglers. This area has been a market ever since, though the contents and bosses are changing like the leaves. One creates the other, and around they go. Huh. They probably did it themselves for the insurance. Or some poor die girl finally had a nervous break. Who knows? Carmona has nothing but time, but none for that mystery anymore. Only perhaps to wish it had been me. It was never mine, just borrowed him from another. And it's all right, Menina. Drink, work, hard living. We lead difficult lives. We expire. It is a happy memory. You are most welcome. Dangerous questions usually come from dangerous people, Menina. Carmuna will forget she ever heard that one, yes?
You better hope she really does forget it. That was a question worthy of a child pretending to be an operant.
Very good. Bazaar's closing soon, Menina. Don't forget to check the racks.
You approach Carmuna's rack of clothing, protected from the elements by a clear plastic sheet. No two pieces are alike. The rack sways with misspelled logos and forgotten styles. Cowboy boots, leather trousers, a long black skirt. Hangers scrape against metal as you thumb through the racks. Foreign material shifts under your fingers, cool and unfamiliar.
Discount for you, Menina.
The rack sat. You turn away from the... You return to the rack. Price tags rustle beneath your fingers.
Very nice.
The rack sag. You turn... The fire exit remains ajar, all wedged into the crack. You open the door and climb the spotlit stairs once again.
We Machines are simple, Hirsch. Just got to know what commands to give them, and they do the rest for you.
Radiant's fingers dancing, each input a new incantation. The ember of his blunt pulsing with every keystroke. A sorcerer within his haze. For better or for worse, you'll have to. But there is one piece of advice you remember Radiant giving to you for times like this.
If you ever get stuck, you do what you do when among human company. Ask for help. You can literally type it in.
3 possible inputs, cold and toneless, flicker up on the screen. 1, network. 2, diagnostics. 3, quit. Network should get you the list, then it's just a matter of finding it. Load in network. Pixels wink in and out of existence before slowly etching themselves into something larger. A chaos of blinking black squares, apparently random, and yet cohering into a shape that stirs something in your mind. Before you, Portofiero's wireless network, a constellation of flickering nodes floating in a landless void. Dormant stars waiting for ignition. You're one of the blinking pixels. That much is clear. Which one, though? The mess of black squares swims before your eyes. You have no idea. You look to a region of the map where only a few scattered pixels blink amid stretches of empty screen. The densely populated heart of the city, where terminals pile on top of each other, dozens to a square meter. Renotel Diagnostics is intended for official personnel only. Input external device to continue. The artery before you connect the text cursor. Ask it. Goodbye. You pick up the payphone's hands. You press the soft plat. The poke sends a ripple. You step away.
Hello again. What'll it be? With nothing else to do, your gaze naturally wanders to the multicolored bottles behind the bar.
Hello again. What'll it be?
With nothing.
Hello again. What'll it be? Hello again.
They're not here. Never drank himself. Like one of those master sword makers the government subsidizes to make 2 blades a year. It took him a long time to warm up to people, but once he did, he was loyal to a fault.
Let me know if you need something else.
She stays silent, waiting for you to kickstart the conversation.
Schnapps, so far.
She shakes her head.
Exceptionally. I'm not sure he's casting it on you.
She makes a show of clearing her throat before your next question. She glances over at the man as he sits silently at his booth, transfixed by something in his hands.
Perfectly polite. Keeps to himself, hasn't caused any trouble, pays in cash. Bit of a lizard, I suspect. Not much. Mostly drinking and fiddling with paper. Hasn't given one. Just like you. You're asking a lot of questions about this man. Sure, but that's enough now. Either talk to him yourself or drop it all together.
She picks up a cloth and absent-mindedly starts wiping the counter.
No, I don't think we have. I'm Lucia. What brings you to Kisok? First rounds on the house, then. What will you have?
She reaches for a half-full bottle of pink-tinged liqueur. In due course, a small trumpet-shaped glass appears before you. The glass makes a little thunk as it hits the bar. You down it in one go, as is tradition.
Don't tell me you're in Portofino for the phone sex. Well, I'm glad it's not our only draw. It's a payphone to the west of here. It overlooks the water. You'll know it from the group of excited old men nearby.
She gives the photograph a brief, considered glance.
No. Must have been before my time. No problem.
She glances at the print again.
That one was a carabinero, right? Right. Him I used to see around. That's tough. He died, I think. Don't ask me that. Not my business. I can see that. How'd you say you knew him again? Ah. There was this guy he used to meet with, Rustamian. Heavy set. Pretty sure he was an informant. I'm saying he might know more, if that's what you want. I think he hangs about near the roundabout. Try there. Don't forget your photo. You mean reunion, all of that. I try not to think about it. Mm-hmm. See you.
An older man, heavy-set, looks up as you approach. On the table next to him is a large plastic box. An accordion hose runs from the side of it and disappears between his shirt buttons. Like a dead octopus, smothered and forgotten about.
Up around. Long of you to drop by. And right on schedule, I'd say.
It should be said that you've never seen this man before in your life.
Though I'm sure it doesn't feel that way. Never. And yet I think we're well met. Some reputations precede. I heard a notorious spy had escaped from the freezer and was running amok in theater. Had to see for myself.
This man must be part of our welcoming committee. The gang's legend spreads far and wide.
Now here you are, in living color. Cascade, known to some as Herschel Wilk.
You might still be able to play this off.
Know the feeling. That's what happens when you become a null entity. All those names just kind of drift away.
No entity. The Operant Bureau's preferred name for those it would rather forget.
But my sordid history's not the subject here. It's you everyone's asking about. All kinds of stuff. They were asking, has she figured out her assignment yet? What's going on with her double? Does she still have it? Thrilling questions all. But mainly, they're concerned about your heart. Size of a fist, weighs about 1/4 kilo. They want to know what you'll take for it. A heart with history. There's connoisseurs who'd pay a premium for that.
There's no fret behind his words. He's simply describing the objective state of things.
Reminds me of a story in the paper. An Azuri cannibal pays another man for the pleasure of killing him and devouring his heart. Gruesome scene. Features a frying pan and all sorts of unprintable details. One detail they did print, though, was this. The fella who sells his own heart accepts his payment by check. GMs find it uncashed in his blood-drenched shirt pocket. Absolutely. If you don't set your own price, the market will. The Opera have dropped you in a river of shit. Maybe I can help you get yourself out of it.
A hiss, followed by the frantic clack, clack, clack of a microfiche reader. High contrast negatives hit the back of your retinas. 58, collapse of Ile-de-Serres' Grand Bridge. 60, Laplage's royal family liquidated. 63, suppressed uprising in PR Yoffi. 67, the Agora minor blackout. No direct attribution possible. Cross-references simply point to one figure, skipping in the margins of history. Cryptonym redacted. Date of birth redacted. Nation of origin disputed. Joined the Opera late 40s. Declared null entity in 69. Whatever happened in 69, it must have to do with that box. Maybe it's not just a medical necessity. Maybe it's something more. The microfiche reader clacks a final time, settling on a monochrome picture. Beneath it, a nom de guerre. His fleshy cheeks pull his mouth into just the slightest approximation of a smile. A name whispered among tutors and veterans, invoked like a demon from a lost mythology.
Warms the heart to know people still talk about you when you're not around.
The posture remains, yet the gravity in the air thickens.
I've been called many things up around. Cool isn't one of them. Stick around. You may have a chance to find out.
The box hisses. He puts a cigarette out in an empty schnapps glass.
This thing? No. This is just the plastic box that keeps me from shaking the Manus Fati.
To shake the hand of fate is to die in this part of the world.
Last I heard, the original article was sitting on a desk in a third-level sub-basement somewhere in Nevessa. Story for another time, I'd say. And yet no one's tried. Maybe they've been scared. How about you? Don't know about that. Rather traumatic, medically speaking. Fortunately, I retain a fearless cardiologist. This was your old haunt, was it not? See why you're drawn to it. Spacious, decent sightlines. Noisy enough to make bugging impractical.
At this hour, the bar is the closest it gets to busy. A half-dozen customers or so chatter, or idly watch a pelota match. The two of you attract no particular attention. Meanwhile, the bartender washes a few glasses in a tiny sink, looking up every now and then towards the television.
Yes. This place will do. As I said, wanted to witness your return to live action myself. Just because I'm bereft of official existence doesn't mean I can't keep an eye on the younger generation. Maybe pass along a little practical wisdom here and there. Verdict's still out. You made it further than your double. That's a start anyway. Working with locals. Good. A chance encounter, believe it or not. I took your man's temperature and no more. Gastropod, is it?
Grounded, wet trail, retreated into his shell. Not bad at all.
That bad, is it? He looked rather lost when we last spoke. Dark forces laying devious snares for the innocent servants of post-historical materialism. Unfortunately, that seems to be the modus these days. Chiseling hunks of frost-burnt meat out of the freezer and tossing them straight into the grinder. Must be a better way, you'd think. Barbarous youth storming the gates, hoisting its dirty flag. You got age on your side, but have you got it? Rhetorical question. remains to be seen. It? That ineffable, inexplicable quality essential to success in theater. Frequently discussed, rarely demonstrated. No, it is uncountable and immeasurable, much to the chagrin of the chart fuckers who lately seized control in Nevesser and the other citadels of secret power. And yet, when in its presence, none can deny. Depends. Do you want to grab reality by the face, tear off a false skin, and stare into the abyss of stars inside her skull? There was a time when someone believed you might, seeing as they trusted you to set up the opera's last Portaferro network. Didn't turn out so hot, if reports are accurate. And yet, here you are, back on the scene. That suggests your it levels haven't totally flatlined. One of the most difficult questions in its studies. Driven more than a chair of operants and math prodigies to start raving insanity. Given that, the consensus seems to be better not lose it in the first place. Call it your look of haggard perplexity, assuming that's not just your normal expression. You've been out of the action for 5 years. I've been in this game a long time. Picked up plenty of neat things that could be of interest to you.
He takes the disc and adjusts his glasses to get a closer look.
2 things stand out. First, this is an unusual format. Einzelton. Not just standard consumer fare. Is that right? Solid stagecraft, I'd say.
Spoken like an artist admiring a rival's technique.
The artist, Ultravioletta, the Lusian electro-pop singer. Gone missing, so they say. Unfortunate sauce is that. Still, better than none. You but from a dream. No, nothing at all. Music, not really my area. Spotted a couple teenagers in elaborate costumes. Seem to be fans of some kind. I'd say they're your source. Lusian elites with a hard-on for maps. Kicked off in the 70s when Luz re-annexed a few neglected ex-colonies. No resources at stake. The world didn't fuss much. Now that they've dispensed with optics, the reunion's really picking up speed. That's got Enter spreading around the margins. The possibility that the vulgar physics of the boot can leave dents on the immaterial. But it's your party that's really shitting its britches, wondering if they missed a fundamental, non-dialectical variable along the way. Good for them.
The dialectic assumes a predictable trajectory. It does fail to account for one thing.
Bingo. There's no linear relationship between people and history or post-history. Personally, I describe it to that pesky eye, great derailer. Someone's already started drafting the next chapter. Rest of the world's just catching up. Take your pick. We're nominally in the developed world. That's Emter's home pitch. That would be the negotiator subclass. Nothing like it in the animal kingdom. I understand they got operants in theater as well. By that same token, Portaferro was a Lusian penal colony for a long while. Some people think the Weeping Eye are lurking around every corner. Naturally, the techno-fascists are really treating the place like they own it again. Operating out in the open like that suggests confidence, I'd say. Take your pick. That would be, by that same token,
He tilts his head, a playful glee in his eyes.
the techno-fascists are really treating the place. Local television personality. Though his accent suggests origins in the People's Republics. Lavendy, I'd say.
The PR Lavendy, the less socially developed neighbor of the PR Kohila.
Obviously a lunatic, an addict of some sort. I'd keep my distance, were I you. He's got a glorified rat hole in the housing campaign. Calls it his Fortress Studio. Across the rooftops, I think. Please, operant. There's cavorting with the genius loci, and then there's wrapping your mouth around a raw sewage line. That said, he's got tens of thousands of regular viewers. Not bad for public access. Only what's in his red folder. Do you want to hear it?
With a great sigh, the man leans back in the booth and closes his eyes.
Novessa born, graduate of the Polytechniker. No partner or dependents, of course. Father was a noted cosmonaut. Taught life sciences before his recruitment. Cryptonyms are never so arbitrary as they're meant to be. When it comes to names, the mind demands something that sticks.
The old man's eyelids flutter as he continues.
No remark-worthy sexual tendencies. High attention to detail. A mild allergy to his own sweat. Occasional flashes of grandiosity. That last point may sound familiar. A joke. Your flashes are more than occasional. You were chosen because his skill sheet was thought to complement your own. How that translates interpersonally. More for you to say. Sure. A two-person counterforce to stand against the Shadow Lettuce. Every junior operand's fantasy. And recitation. Take a recent sample. One of your enemies has set up a secret jail somewhere here in Kisak. Strike a chord.
Disturbingly topical.
The rich one. Enter.
Tempo was laying low from the Weeping Eye, not Emter. It would be very bad news if both the Operant Bureau's ancient enemies were mixed up in this.
My offer is this. I share with you a little from my wall of shadows. You help me with some personal research. And yet here you are, palely loitering, engaging strange old men at the bar. Interesting strategy. Must be new school. Forewarned, no such thing in my experience. Till next time, Operand.
This is a dangerous path you are traversing, Cascade. In the subterranean halls of the Opera, the ancients are whispering about you. They're saying Cascade has gone looking for it. Then you've already lost. Some are born with it. Those who go looking for it, more often than not, end up destroying their lives in pursuit of the elusive ideal, like Operant Probable before you. The question before you is the same one that obsessed Operant Probable during the period of their precipitous decline.
It rides into battle under polychrome banners, lance shining with the hopes of the people. It wears a suit of steel. Women and homosexuals throw flowers at its feet.
In their final reports, Probable speculated that it had disappeared completely from this material plane, and could only be recovered by undertaking a dangerous meta-quest. Luck and skill, Cascade. You will need both.
Up, Rand. Till next time.
You pick up the payphone's handset. You step away. You pick up the pay. You step away. At your approach, through Kurt, and much like their cloaks, the trio blocking your path is genuinely Lusian. They're flaunting their Illuminado authenticity. It's intentionally unsubtle. Slick outfits, cutting-edge tech, a runaway economy. If they're not concerned about subtlety, that means they're not operants. Private security, maybe. The few members of the Illuminated Empire allowed to expatriate find themselves in high demand throughout the developed world as mercenaries and bodyguards. At your approach, through Kurt's, and much like their cloaks, the trio you are a highly skilled. If they're not concerned, the few members of the
Not one step further, bold scum. I'll do it.
coiled, fingering the safety latch.
I'll enjoy it too. I think I can probably come just from watching the drama sink into your face, right before the oxygen stops reaching my brain for good. Don't pretend you're interesting. I can smell it on you, you know? The forms, the files, the fucking bureaucratic miasma that birthed you.
Pupils track you like a cornered animal trying to recognize the butcher. His left foot twitches in anticipation of the jump.
So you conspicuously not talking to your little colleague out there. I know you're from the medical board, and I know he's been watching me. Sounds like a pre-rehearsed line designed to entrap me. If you're not bored, which you fucking are, then go and deal with the stain of Narch shit's lurking outside. I know that scarf of his is a fucking wire. Right outside. Small stature, big hair, bigger scarf. I knew his superior would be a woman. Stench of xenophobia all over him. No one takes down Dr. Gonzalo E.S. Gonza, except Gonzalo E.S. Gonza. What am I, your mother? Rub cocaine on it. That'll numb almost anything. Don't shit me, you wired fuck. You and whoever's listening are not going to lure me in with ethically stimulating cases again. Hugo Abbe? That dry-cocked, rules-loving traitor? Good luck. You'd be better off asking the vegetable.
His eyes flash.
Bring me one of his lying, scheming, bored narc teeth. Leave that to the medical professional. You have no idea what I can see in a tube. If I had his spleen, I could tell you how his dog mother conceived him. Here, use these. My board can then pry bar. Bluffing until I see it. I'll do as I very well please, bored harpy.
The machine is still soured by the smell of urine. The poor thing's been abandoned, left to pickle in the bitter piss of passing drunks. No one would notice or care around here if you were to help yourself to its monetary take-ins. You're in the clear. Give it a go. You repeat the same procedure as before, leaving the vending machine once again at your mercy, as you inconspicuously grab the cash gathered inside. The refreshments remain dormant in their artificially chilled chamber. The boy shifts in his cocoon of mismatched fabric. Moonlight shimmers across a holographic patch on his sleeve. The patch reads, Marco.
Yeah? What? No, I mean, yeah? What? Because, no reason, alright? I'm just standing here. I can't. Did that weird doctor put you up to this? I'm not from the medical board. I got a D in biology.
He scuffs the ground with his shoes, head down.
It's at home. I hid it so my parents wouldn't see. But just ask me anything about biology, I'll get it wrong.
And what if he pretends to know less than he does? He glances up at you from the ground. His expression of furtive shame, as characteristic of puberty as the acne and fuzz on his cheek. He is 17 years old. He is not with the medical board.
Nothing to report yet, but I'm not going anywhere. Why not? I don't care. I've been to the dentist like 10 times. Doesn't hurt. Fuck it. I don't give a shit. Take one of my teeth, yeah? Show him I don't give a fuck about his mad shit. I have my own shit going on out here. I'm on a mission. And if mission demands teeth, then fuck it. Have teeth.
Impressive. No way this kid's a board inspector. Whoever sent him is way scarier than any pencil pusher.
Otherwise, she'll call me a cunt. Like always. She's not medical board. Nobody's medical board. I'm just monitoring comings and goings, alright? I have a job to do. I can't say she'll murder me.
The teenage boy not... Just hit him in the face. It'll be great. He opens his mouth to flash you the empty space where a tooth should be.
How does it look?
Ridiculous.
Yeah? I suppose girls always like the pelota players with the broken noses and stuff.
He takes his hand from his mouth to wave at you. Blood drips from his fingers. The teenage boy not...
How'd you know my name?
He narrows his...
Oh yeah, you're right. Protection from what? Nah, it's from La Luz.
With a flick, the boy shows off the sleeve's electric magenta trim. Black tags dangling from the hem chime loudly.
Cool, right?
He chimes the tags together again before slipping them back into his sleeve.
Yeah? I don't know. I hang out like everyone else. What?
Back for the gruesome finale. You? That's a no child. That's a 40-year-old man with a severe deformity. A girlfriend. That one. A likely story. With a genophobia so pronounced, it's a wonder he even managed to talk to you without lapsing into torrential incontinence. Aha! Genophobic board nut, through and through. I'm not budging until you get him the fuck out of here. Nice. Very nice.
Is that arousal?
Not the chance. I don't want narcanatomy in here. They could be tracking him through that molar for all I know. Fine, but be warned. One whiff of bored fuckery and gruesome public suicide is back on the agenda.
The doctor doesn't appear any more professional behind the desk than he was on air.
Now tell me, where does it hurt?
The site of some kind of humanitarian catastrophe. The surface of Gonza's desk is buried under unopened envelopes, pill bottles, loose syringes, and pens. Atop the pile sits a child's drawing of a two-headed horse and a crumpled note with a few scrawled phone numbers. The doctor's twitching, though watchful eye inspects you as you scan his mess.
Not my kid, before you get ideas. I locked down my own plumbing at 12. Quarterized and triple-tied vast deference. No one's trapping Gonza. Some junkie spawn handed that abomination to me after I treated his mom. Zero talent. Ah, he'll be fine. The city rewards poor judgment and colorful handwriting. I see a long, mediocre career in municipal law enforcement. They're decorative. That's how the board gets you. Open a government threat and it becomes a conversation. Keep those things sealed, and then you have their fear. Bottled.
The doctor drums his fingers on the dirty desktop and stares bitterly into the middle distance.
Bored? What do you want? He's dead. Forget about him. Ah, yes. This is the ethically stimulating case you were trying to entice me with. What? A functioning human organism with neither consciousness nor the capacity to file a malpractice lawsuit? Fuck me. What's not to love? Who's the unfortunate? You know, he could just be ignoring you. Defensive Thanatosis. Some men can slow their own heart rate for up to 16 hours in order to escape the women in their lives.
Better known as playing dead, widely observed in the animal kingdom, unheard of in humans.
Oh, he's committed. I've had my fair share of coma vibes. You're all deviants. Gut diagnosis screams ketamine binge, but I'm keeping an open mind. Any signs of injury, self-inflicted or otherwise? Good start. Anything else? Sounds like the problem's in here. Maybe akinetic mutism. See, nobody turns to a dish rag on a whim. Unless he's stroked out, there'll be a precipitating incident. Drugs, toxins, choking maybe. If he knows how to party. Found any needles around? Belt? Maybe a weapon? Music? Ultravioletta! Well, there it is. Mystery condition solved. I didn't fucking consent to the knowledge now, did I? It's forced down your throat as soon as you step outside. This is a clear-cut case of LAS. Libidinal atrophy shutdown syndrome. Affects terminal virgins, unlaid husbands, and men exposed to overly uterine music. Tea drinkers, too.
That is definitely 100% a real condition.
Oh, this is less, all right. But as bad a case as I've ever encountered. Men are built to pursue, conquer, reproduce. Ergo parannum, a quota of fucking must occur. His body is given up from neglect. Seen it 1,000 times.
The doctor opens a drawer and slides towards you a baggie with a small medical stamp inside.
Anti-last treatment. It'll wake up whatever's left in him to wake up. And if that doesn't work, end of the road, sister. Cut him loose. No man likes Ultravioletta. He's buried in the depths of erotic despair. He's so far down the hole, he probably doesn't even know what happened to him. This is a proprietary formulation, soon to be patented. That's as much as I can tell you. Neurostimulants, vasodilators, endocrine hormones, and other elements far above your medical competency. Home recipe, mama. I can out-erect any man, anywhere, anytime, dead or not. Of course I really think it. I prescribed it. Easy delivery. Just let it dissolve on his tongue. Good luck to you. Adios, patient.
The teenage boy nods hesitantly as you approach.
Yeah, maybe somebody can put it back in.
He stares at the bloody piece of enamel in his palm.
Cool.
Could I ever see beyond her, only to discover more of her?
The middle-aged man stares into the sky, left eye loping slightly. His hair and suit are both in moist disarray. A pink tie hangs open around his neck. A crumpled paper airplane of a man.
Do not prod me at this point. Are you looming over me in official capacity? A hedged opening position, exploitable if we found ourselves across the table. But I have abandoned post, delegated all responsibility to my junior. It will hobble him, of course, the fate of our kind. I am Oscar Metamoto, senior negotiator for l'Empire de la Empire Sandu without la Empire.
A glimpse of steel submerged behind his bloated jowls.
Thank you for the offer, but we are far beyond that pale. For immediate release, Oscar Metamoto is hors d'usage until he receives at least 3 apologies. One from my opposite number, one from my superiors for the professional cuckolding, and one from my aforementioned junior for making me superfluous. I wouldn't know, because he has yet to appear.
Though it may be smashed beneath him, this man was sent here with an assignment.
He's Lusian. Definitely not.
So it's the Lusians. The bank awaits the techno-fascists.
Then why am I so thoroughly cursed? It is an ungloved prostate exam, direct from the Manus Fati. One starry finger extended, powerless to do anything but brace yourself. I know how it works, but still, on principle, seems my hors d'usage will be much prolonged. Mountainous vision of flesh, a true angel incarnate, terrifying everything. She is my friend, the ambassador's wife, Lolita Calista.
Spoken with awe and reverence.
I've committed no corporeal crime, high mental treason only. But should it come to it, apologies go two ways at Che Metamoto. I will prize them from dead hands if necessary. My friend, the ambassador's wife, Lolita Calista. The only woman that will satiate Metamoto now.
Radiating with grubby intent.
None. The terms are set. It's not sweet. It's an affliction. Worse than the drinking. Far worse. Come closer then. She is a masterpiece.
Rather than complete drunken nonsense, the senior negotiator's fingers are tracing a specific shape. Is that a hoof? A towering chimera pulp.
Could I?
The middle-aged, a crumpled paper airplane of a man.
No. Are you looming over me until I have abandoned? I am.
A glimpse of steel submerged behind his bloated jowl.
Thank you for the offer. For immediate one from. I wouldn't.
Though it may be smashed beneath him.
He's loose.
So it's the Lusians.
Then why am I? It is an ungloved prostate. I know how. Mountainous vid. She is my.
Spoken with awe.
I've committed no. I will my friend.
Radiating with.
My I love her. Searingly. None. No choice. Come closer. She is a masterpiece.
Her full figure comes into view. Lolita is 2 meters tall and almost as wide. An ancient goddess whose frame stirs nothing less than the primal compulsion to drop to your knees in worship. Barriers between your mind, body, and soul crumble as your entire being transforms into a total expression of worship. You take her in, your eyes helpless as each curve and fold leads to another, an infinite loop, a flesh fractal. The giantess sees you, peering up over her acres. She knows you are there. Beside you, in the shadow of the giantess, Oscar Metamoto sighs.
So you understand my predicament.
He looks up at you with a small shine in his eyes. I hope that you are aligned.
Thank you for the encouragement.
He rubs the invisible slate clean of his Lolita tracing and softly blows the air.
Searingly.
If there's any kind of moral conflict churning below the surface, he does not show it.
At one tiresome function or another, I don't recall, I was too astounded by the primal synchronicity. Like the day meeting the night. Ineffable. Ephemeral. Here in Portofino? No. Here at my personal nadir, strewn upon the gravel? I would say affirmative. In the vulgar sense or the spiritual sense? One would hope she felt the illicit magnetism also. Of course, there's no way to know. The heart of my tragedy. I cannot concur. Frederick, my stretched agitator. Yes, that's my jeune. Frederick. Is he? Good for Fred. Get it all out. I'm not concerned. Prostitutes are wardens of the world's secrets. He'll be fine. It's only the developed world at stake.
A knowing, almost cruel smirk flashes across the map of destruction which makes up his face.
That's the good thing about sex. Never really too much. Resets itself, doesn't it? Stretched and ensnared. Well, this is what the big teams will do to you. No, he's just very delegable. Very delegable. His best attribute by my count. Frederick has it all in hand, I'm sure. How do you mean? Mega perv? Very judgmental, very hasty. We all have vices. Some you must take very seriously, or break beneath their weight. Who's the bigger pervert in your estimation? Myself or Fred Lejeune? Now that is intriguing. If my heart didn't belong to the maiden Calista, intriguing. I visited an old friend. On the verge of our great triumph, we defeated ourselves. Reno, final boss of Reno Enterprises, and most famously, final boss of telephonic communication.
Reno Tel, the Dolphin payphones, invisible courier of the city.
A routing, I knew it was a mistake accepting the invitation. Reno can have quite the time when he revs up. But one can't. You never can. Especially not me.
Equal parts capitalism and alcoholism, both late stage.
We often do at our rare reunions. But no, some others fought alongside us. Intimate circle. I brought Frederick Lejeune along too, which proved to be an error, but also a lesson well learned. Train isn't serious. Not the most auspicious start. Fred went weak at the knees because the toy train was Reno's prized child's joyous trophy. A terrible fate.
You've wandered into some bizarre capitalist shit here.
Eons drew up his very first contracts when he was getting into private infrastructure. Bulletproof. The blood-soaked arena was Reno's apartment. Cozy little penthouse at the tippy-top of the housing campaign. Private elevator, of course. Tunnel to Coliseum. Side of our last stand. And yet, the Horde continues to beg. More. I believe I did. Yes. A bad one. And yet, I've been sober at the table for 10 years. And all. Stay away from it, all of it. You should never come to this place. Oh well, what's to be done? The next 10 start tomorrow. Thank you. The bank is always open.
And always in town.
But I am not the bank, merely a mirage of the bank. I am le négociateur sans corps.
And her haunt in the city could be routine economical gouging. Could be something bigger.
High tragedy. La Ballade du Frère Lejeune. I don't care to get into it. The boy's embarrassed himself enough.
Alcohol was the key. Ply him with the stuff.
Devious, but not unattractive. Yes, I think I'll take it. We've made a deal, strange woman. A deal sealed and done.
He throws the alcohol back down his throat, eyes open wide, staring at the stars.
Metamoto is back at the table. So, yes, the little reunion we had at Reno's, the one that's rendered me gravel-bound. Fred was also in attendance. The prize train was in circulation, being shown off to a trusted few. A moment's distraction, a stray placement. Fred saunters in from the kitchen, wreathed in smiles, fails to scan the landing zone. Sits right on it. The crack, splintered plastic, a gunshot through the soul. Freddy knew instantly what he'd done. I also knew, but for the boy's sake, pretended not to notice. did not. Fortuitous. Fred would have been banished from the tower immediately. But he will notice if he hasn't already. He will notice. Reno cares about two things above all others. His cat and his train. And also his businesses above all others. The Jeune stayed seated on the wreckage for almost 2 hours until things got elucid enough for him to make his play. He seized a moment of distraction, then, limping slightly, off he snuck to stash the body. That will be one of 1,000 pressures assailing the boy, but it will be a significant one. Bigger occasions have fallen through for less. You hate to see it in the professional game. Keystocks a lonely town when you're the only M-Tear boy around. I, personally, have never before seen him disintegrate a model train, but it's not the first time he struck an own goal at a social gathering. I used to just drink my way through them, as you can probably tell. I didn't see where he put the main part. He scampered off to a dark corner of the pied-à-terre to conduct his beastly business. Well, the other part is in the reliable hands of Metamoto. I am, of course, one of his oldest and most financially lucrative double hitter. I took the train for Frederick's sake. Plausible deniability pour le jeune. Major asset at the table.
He gazes at you, head dipping forward like a fading pulse. Suddenly sentimental, the emotional quick change of a ravaged alcoholic.
Because it makes me think of her. What other reason is there? It is, of course, my friend the ambassador's wife, Lolita Calista.
Give it to him straight. Save him from this gigantic delusion he's created.
She's as real as you. Realer. Her dimensions. Abuse the space around her. My friend, the ambassador, is also... You are a heretic of love. No train for you. I usually... Back for more.
He offers you a grin. He does...
I believe the core... Mostly urban myth.
But a department nonetheless. Further proof that Enter are pulling the piano wire.
Go. Back for more.
He offers you a grin. He doesn't...
A forgiver. We are around. We linger. Whose debt needs abracadabra? Yes, our program for the disadvantaged to accentuate their purchasing power. Fantastic stuff. Very fair rates. Fair child, there is no such thing as money. It is a mere promissory note. There is only debt and credit. Why not? Seems I have very little on. But I require holy water for the rite of forgiveness.
The liquidity mage needs liquid.
Yes, the holiest. In well-stocked markets and machines. The name, whisk, return with it, and we can begin the rite. Goodbye.
The machine is still soured by the piss smell. A stray cat hops soundlessly over a nearby wall. Your double turns to you.
Cascade. I'm not saying it's likely, Cascade, only that the possibility can't be dismissed out of hand. Point 1, nocturnality. Point 2, X-ray sight. That's why I have a clear record of every one of the 422 times that cats have suddenly stopped and stared at me at exactly the moment I was in the middle of an important intelligence operation. For no one, Cascade, that is precisely the point. They have their own methods, their own strategic objectives, unaligned with any known power. And, I fear, devious and at odds with our own.
Your double continues walking, his hands clasped behind his back and his gaze restless, darting around the scene, taking in everything. Absolutely everything. The brightly colored refreshments seem even more vivid upon your return. It's not been long since you... The refreshments... The smuggler inclines his head in silent recognition.
That look wasn't for nothing. Something happened over there. He knows you're one of Tempo's now. Remind him that you can be trusted. Instinctively, he looks down, but tries to stop himself. It's almost like he's... Yes, everything within him is making a concerted effort not to react. It's a mill of pedestrian movement, the comings and goings of cargo. His vision of the world is... The smuggler inclines his head. That look wasn't... He knows you're one of Tempo. You scan the... Nothing. Instinctively. Yes. Everything within him is making a concern. You squint. Only highlights and outlines remain as the dockyard and then the bazaar disappear. You glide across the water, out to sea, until it merges back into a meandering canal to the southeast. There is nothing there for your gaze to settle on, other than an isolated building. An uncharacteristic tension in his voice there. Cowards. In exchange for keeping tabs on Tempo, the logic holds, given what you found in the office. Ignatz, the man you first saw at Photo 24. What have he got to pseudopod? Ignatz was lurking around Photo 24 after all. Except Pseudopod was no vanguard. Regardless, Ignatz should be on your list of culprits. A jolt of fear snaps through you, writing itself across your face.
Unclear if he noticed. He sniffs idly, rolling the cigarette between his lips. One of 8 great trenches in the mapped world. Its edges run from the Telmar Gulf to the Lio Aran Sea. Conservative estimates suggest a depth of 12,000 meters. He lowers his head in brief salute. The rack stands alone and you leave the rack alone. You pick up the payphone's hand. You step away. You were panting from the run over, heart thudding in your ears. Hours late. There was an astral door beside that trash can, and an exchange due with your opposite number for documents within. It's empty. You were only supposed to handle the pickup and drop off. Some blueprints in exchange for a dossier. That's way too fucking boring to remember. We've already forgotten it again. You turn to see Estock sitting at a nearby bench, shaking her head at you slightly over a newspaper. She looks away and changes her posture, letting her coat fall in such a way that you see the sign in her pocket, a brochure for beach bungalows. She's made the exchange with your opposite number on your behalf. When you called Melita that night, you gave her the name of the brochure as confirmation of the handoff, and never mentioned a thing about SD. The young man leans back, his gaze slowly tracing your outline. Both of his eyes drift outwards, as if pulled by different horizons.
Lucky for her, I'm a respectful man. Most days. Now, tell me how I can help you today.
This must be the heavy-set Rustami and the bartender at the Fog Mirror saw with virtue.
The business of you. You walk in here, you parlay with me, you already have sold. The other half? I'll take care of that. Order my services.
Defenses going up, but curiosity as well. So that's it. He's gone. Asset virtue. Confirmed. Zeroed out. Words that echo of marble, drums, and banners.
Only two possibilities. His own brothers, failing the Brotherhood, or the Azuris. Figure it was the Azuris.
Portofiero's largest organized crime syndicate, who he no doubt works for.
News of a dead carabinero usually comes with jokes and shit talk. Maybe drinks. But sure as the Cape boys were quiet, so were the Azuris. He'd been on the shit list for a while, I'm sure. Maybe he pissed off one of the pecans. Doesn't matter. The uniform's reason enough. And Vespar didn't look too good the last time we met. Like he knew something ugly was coming.
The young man offers you a somber nod. The young man stares at you for a long time.
As much as Vespar's outfit bothered me, you stand by everything your employer does, Habibti?
You recall Vespar speaking of his time in the Guardia Municipal, a decade of low-stake days. Making Goat Eyes look like a snitch, with none of the perks.
Baby, not only am I a businessman, I am a purveyor of taste. I curate high-class aesthetics and deliver low-overhead miracles. Sometimes it's fashion, sometimes it's conversation pieces.
The words roll off his tongue, smooth as the smoky bergamot cologne he's wearing.
And I got fresh weed, too. All right. Tell me what's on your mind. I'll be seeing you.
A weather-worn building looms over you. It's back to the road. Yellow beige plaster peels like parchment, exposing old brickwork. You're not sure. It's hard to even tell whether the structure is residential or commercial. What's clear is that its footprint is significant, and yet only a single clear point of entry, suggesting no interest in drawing a crowd. Traffic control, both ways. A faint light glimmers, active. A thick drainage pipe runs down the building's side, bolted tight. Diameter in relation to structure, a rough capacity of 12 to 15 liters per second. The numbers don't add up, do they? It's a jail. Above the door, a set of 3 boarded up windows. Unusual for a civilian structure. It's the kind of frame you'd see used by embassies, banks, governmental archives. Assuming the point is to keep people out. Surmountable to high. Forget the frame. Look at the glass. Something's off about it. Enhance. The world narrows, and the glass shimmers. Colors compress themselves wrongly. There. That's stressed by refringents. Windows shatterproof. Maybe bulletproof too. One element at a time. The building before you comes into focus. Behind the surface disfigurement, a skeleton that's withstood decades. But first you must know it intimately. Below you, a man-made canal, passing directly under the building, slick with a rainbow-colored surface. This could be where the engineer on the pylon saw the human-sized package. By the canal's edge, a waterlock used to grant passage to boats or barges, or people. Disparate bits of information, one by one, slide into place. A faint current dances across your skin, as if frantically searching for ground. Your gaze returns to the building before you. Its purpose is evident. No question. Definite territory, despite Lompier's claims to the contrary. A theatre-grade inference. Operant Cascade re-emerges from the shadows. Rubbish is piled so high it overflows the rim of the metal container. The sanitation crews are running behind schedule. The layers of detritus are many days deep. A whole history of discarded artifacts is piled up in front of you. This bin is an archive. Search it and you may conjure the recent history of this place. This calls for deep urban forensics. The archives demand bravery and diligence. The mass before you is divided into 3 distinct strata of your choice. You've now penetrated to the darkest and wettest layer. A metallic thud tells you that you've reached the bottom of the bin. Your fingers get to work. However, the rancid smell threatens to suffocate you. Bile lurches at the back of your throat, burning. Luckily, your diligence is not in vain. Your fingers catch on something hard in the furthest corner of the sludge pile. It's a pair of grimy glasses, large black frames, and what must be the thickest prescription lenses available. The missing vendor. These are the glasses he was wearing in the photo his daughter showed you. You wonder how the glasses ended up here, but only for a moment. Between this and the isolated building's exterior. As if you needed any additional confirmation that you're in the right place. You pick carefully through the warm middle strata until you bump against a papery wad. 2 for yes, 1 for no. The echo in the room. A gasp without breath. Chin up, gaze fixed on the radiant tomorrow. The dead man's parade marches past and I am left behind. A decent imitation of Genghis Balik's style of free verse, but they could have gone harder with the adverbs. A scroll of red ink above the typed words. We thank you for your submission. Unfortunately, at this time the Nos Correntes review will not be moving forward. This rejected submission would imply that their offices are nearby. Perhaps the building next to you. Nothing of note yet. False teeth, a broken bottle. Oh, there's some salt of you on it. You pluck a few coins from the... This is how you imagine the insides of an eyeball would feel. Various slimy textures slide up your hand as you dip into the dregs. Your fingers graze something sharp. Paper, maybe. Before you can grab it, it dissolves back into the warm muck, never to be glimpsed by human eyes again. You extricate yourself from the layers of... This bin is an archive. This calls for deep, urban... The layers of... This bin is an... This calls... The rubbish contain... Bagman gestures wildly on the sounds from the... Sprawled in front of you is a huge control panel. It looks exactly how you imagine the cockpit of a flying machine would. Work this out, and you should be able to drain the water outside. The controls before you are unlabeled. There are 2 glowing buttons. A switch, and a single large lever. Sequential logic applies. Operating the controls in a specific order will lower the water outside. First, press the red button. Pretty standard for a hydraulic pump. The switch and lever suggest a mechanical interlock. Hard to gauge which one comes first without trying. For now, the red button. Work out the rest after. A short, powerful hiss of water resounds in the surrounding plumbing. First step confirmed. Sluice cycle initiated. Next, either switch or lever. The metal switch flips the on with a heavy, satisfying thunk. That's the sound of being technically correct. Next, the lever. A hum of machinery runs through the walls. No warning lights, no worrisome noise. Keep going.
Nothing appears to happen.
Best guess, toggle for a humidity sensor, or pressure relief for a bypass pipe. Ignore it. It's irrelevant.
The colour of affirmation, healing. For some, even the button remains nestled in its place, oblivious to your thoughts. As you suspected, the button releases a stream of water somewhere when it is held down.
The hiss turns into a trickle, and then stops entirely. The water won't drain unless it has somewhere to go.
You leave the control panel, as inscrutable as ever. The large pipe outside the window catches your eye again as you turn away from the console. The pipe twists out from the concrete like the roots of a plumbing tree. It's a central part of the water lock mechanism. Somehow these tubes drain and pump it. Normally, a water lock would be above ground and entirely manual, but this is an annoyingly modern... There are doors at either end, and a sluice gate to lower the water inside the lock. The latter is probably located inside the largest pipe, the one you're staring at right now. Correct. The water level is up right now. If you can close the gates, it's a simple matter of figuring out which control releases the water through the sluice pipe.
Indeed.
And as you've established, it's possible that hiding somewhere within it is a pocket jail. You return to find, in line with your... A violent pressurized hiss is heard as the lock drains through the immense pipe to your right. You leave the control panel, its language now mastered. The pipe twists out from the concrete like the roots of a plumbing tree, and interconnected. They are just pipe.
A bottle sits in wet surrender among the grime. The label, damp but still holding strong, reads, Vishnu Schnapps on tour. You snatch up the bottle and realize it's unopened, and therefore uncontaminated. Out of the darkness emerges another wolf cup. Large, plastic, and glorious. The plastic wolf, in round spectacles, reads an ancient tome. He looks sort of bookish and reserved, actually. He looks like the kind of wolf who'd stick his snout in between the pages when no one was looking, just to smell the old paper. Globs of yellow paint refuse to stare. He carries himself with straight shoulders, a confident posture, but his thick glasses hide a furry face twisted with anxiety. Eager Wolf joins the crew. Another plastic wolf cup in your hand. As before, 1 out of 6 is stamped on the hard bottom. If you're a child, perhaps. The door looms. Its keypad glowers at you dubiously. It's hard to see its full form without a light, but inside, there seem to be hundreds of small protuberances sprouting along a cylinder. An intricate configuration that reminds you of the night sky. The arrangement of the pins mimics the 93 constellations. There is only one security system that uses that setup, the Artver Pistorius Mark III, a legendary keypad and lock duo. The door glimmers, only for a moment, as if greeting you back. Good news. This system was accidentally released with a big, honking security flaw. Don't worry, it's not an audio-based system. All you need to do is switch 2 wires around and the keypad will accept any input. Easy. A vulnerability leaked to the Opera in '87, courtesy of a disgruntled engineer who had defected to the People's Republic. A cheat. There lies the scoundrel's way. No frill in that. No panache. How utilitarian. Remember, a paragon of her craft would defeat her opponent with flourish. The Artver Pistorius Mark III's keypad blinks patiently. The door looms. It's hard to... An intricate... The arrangement... There is only one security system that uses... The door does... Good news. This system... Don't worry. A vulnerability leak... A cheat. There lies the... How utility... The Artver Pistorius... See the blue wire and the yellow wires under the keypad? Unplug them, switch them around, and put them back in. The lights on the keypad go dark. You plug the wires back in, the other way around. After a moment, the keypad lights up and a message blinks on its screen. Input code. Pick digits. Any digits. 8 at most. Press the star when done. The keypad accepts the numbers. The door opens unceremoniously before you. The metal drawer slides out nearly soundlessly, revealing rows of official-looking folders. You bend your arm at an uncomfortable angle and press around at the deepest part of the drawer. The drawer's base makes a fin, not even a lost page. You pull your hand back. After a moment of rifling, your fingertip catches on a sharp edge. Lot of footfall for a nondescript building tucked in the corner of a city. Strangers in grainy black and white stare back at you. Under each of them seems to have left the same way. Flight D153 to... There were reports of a ghost site labor colony on Ile-de-Serres. that the opera took seriously. Operant cylinder, status lost, was convinced MTER were behind it, though he could not ultimately prove it. Going by the dates, their visitors don't tend to stay long. This is a liminal space. Your time may be limited. You look for any young woman by the name of Ultravia. Obviously a stage name. She could still be in here somewhere, unknown to you. You skip through the stack until your eye catches on a man's face. Mid-60s, eyes blown up by milk bottle glasses. The last time you saw him, he was smiling at the camera. He isn't smiling here. He looks exhausted and grubby, crumpled at the corners. His glasses were still with him when a sudden talisman, the last thing he gave up. Visitor Krantz Eno, date of arrival 4/3/96. Notes, prolonged interrogation, mostly unsuccessful, until daughter threat gone. You have found someone who isn't really here. It disappears soundlessly into the stack. Enter Cascade, delver of secrets, dismantler of clerical assets. The files blur, then your fingers pause, your conscious mind catching up a split second behind. SD Newitz, head of human capital, MTER, a familiar name, stamped in green ink. The past descends with talons. Your old asset, S-Doc, still draped in the same cover you left her in, with one new styling. She is fastened to her cover, mutating with it. The mask has become her face. Unbearable dissonance reflected back on itself, synced in and phased out. Or maybe it was so bad she couldn't claw her way to the surface and was forced to tunnel deeper. Something about unreturned phone calls, abandoning your ass. A telephone from 5 years ago startles in its cradle.
Herschel, it's Esty. I'm going to talk.
Her phrasing that day always stuck with you. The memory bleeds away. Your eyes refocus on the filing cabinet before you. An address listed in the housing campaign to the north of Party Alley. No house number given. Existing in plain sight. Courageous. You store the file in the cabinet and the information for later use. The metal rattles against itself as the drawer slides shut. The heavy steel door contains a single small window. As with anything that talks in this city, it is emblazoned with the blue Renotel logo. Heavy condensation is obscured through layers. Your fist barely makes it. You hear a brief static crackle. You hold your ear to the box, living
Stop rapping on my door. Don't you people ever tire? The communists. Intriguing. I can barely make you out through this little viewing slot. All right, Spirit. Do you have a name? Herschel. Very good.
You already have a name for him, even if it's a fraudulent one.
Impressive. Though under the circumstances, I'd say poor Dante is more appropriate.
The outline begins to ripple with colors, gestures, tones, the viscera, voice, and name.
Hello, Herschel. How are you doing in there? If you're from the opera, you must be Tempo del Sur's well-connected friend.
A knot of tension forms between your eyes. Once again, you're a step behind. Don't let his evasions and insinuations throw you off course. The deal. You're here for the deal. A wave of static crashes over the line.
Briefly, I was making a personal call from one of those infernal payphones when two men bundled me harshly. Soon after, I found myself in this waterlogged hell. I might have gathered. For an entity devoted to human flourishing, Emter seem indifferent to the conditions of... You could say we're both servants of culture. The Ministry maintains relations with an... Sure, we'll go with that. Boo-hoo-hoo. That's what I say to that. Falsely imprisoned by one enemy. So I didn't kill Tempo del Sur. Though if Deneb gave me the chance to go back, surely I would.
For a moment, nobody said.
Tempo assured me the Opera were enthusiastic about the terms, despite the risks involved. Are you telling me that was not the case?
Here it is, the side deal. First of several, potentially. A long, crackling sigh fills the room.
I procured for Tempo del Sur an extremely rare device. The only one of its kind outside the Illuminated Empire. It's not easy to leave the Illuminated Empire. Tempo promised he would call in certain favors. Alas, only one of us got what we bargained for. There's a ritual in motion, Herschel. One I suspect you've got an important part to play in. Soon there will... Wait!
The phone line hisses and goes silent.
Apologies. I had to attend to a personal matter. Right, the reason you're here. There's a very important man on his way to Portofino as we speak. His name is Facundo Reyes.
Minister of Mass Culture for Lalouz, political theorist, suspected war criminal, architect for Lalouz's meteoric cultural rise. As of this year, 26% of all media originates from Lusian-affiliated distributors. Estimated age, mid-70s. Known photos, 0. While his influence is immense, Reyes himself remains an unbroken cipher. Halberd, zeroed out, 71. Redacted, declared null entity, 74. Sediment. Like all the opera's great enemies, Facundo Reyes is referred to primarily by his epithet.
To his friends, he's still just Facundo. Secret treaties, matters of mass culture, all to be discussed with our mutual antagonists. Fun stuff. Leagues above your station, sadly. Missing pop star. Who do you mean?
A shift in his tone, barely disguised concern.
Ultravioleta, missing. This is grave. Very grave. An incalculable blow for humanity. Spoken like one with the emotional register. Just one question before you scurry back to your masters. Will it be you escorting me to the superblock? Or should I...
What might have begun as an inhale of breath transforms into a static roar that fills up the audioscape. The ocean of static suffocates footsteps right above you. Coming this way. Vanish now. In the crimson dark of the room, it's hard to make out much of anything. You'll have to focus your efforts.
Disused office equipment stacked in a clumsy pile, along with various packing crates. Plastic and cardboard, slowly soaking up the floodwater. It would be a struggle to dive in and cover yourself back up in such a way that you can't be seen. But possibly. The far corner of the room contains nothing but sodden. An open doorway, the one you came from, which you know provides a clean passage straight to the outside. The full weight of your situation. In the door stands a thin woman you've never seen before. You can just make out the shine of the red pen she holds aloft, dagger-like. Cold liquid snatches a crackle.
Hello there.
The young woman taps a red pen against the side of her face and stares at you unblinking.
Here's what you were so desperate to see. Verdict. Already? I've barely touched you. Let me try something. Does this feel good?
She runs her thumb over the pen. 10,000 needles across your skin. You're wearing epidermal electrodes, contact points for a remote electroshock device. Sick.
Good girl. You look very tough.
A click beneath her thumb and a jolt of pain tears through your skin, sharp and sudden. Fuck. Scangang. No arms off. Run.
Still? Enough prelude then. Let's move straight to l'entrelude. I am an interrogatrix for l'Empire sans territoire. Who are you?
Summon a persona. Concede nothing, validate less. Cascade can slip out behind the human-shaped facade. Say nothing, and she will know nothing.
Don't put me to the test.
Hold the line. She gets nothing.
I'm going to assume your silence just means yes from now on, if that's okay with you. Understood. So let's start again. Who are you?
There goes that approach.
Vraiment? Then what were you doing sloshing around in a damp basement? About?
A band of plucky young pipefitters who must save a basement from a canal.
Perhaps I can help.
Click. Your body.
So, let me... Your opera, right?
Your right eye twitches.
Thought so.
The situation is dire. An advanced cognitive maneuver could turn her own weapon against her. The old Remembrancer designation was Fellow Traveler. The contemporary one, Psycho Mirror. Your interrogator doesn't even notice. A shrike above the fawn. You sink back in the chair and widen your...
Captivating. Just two girls hanging out.
Ancient files hidden in the Remembrancer's division speak of a psychic technique.
No, mine look...
The heavy steel door. As with anything that talks in this, you hear you hold your...
Don't you people ever tire? The Commune. All right, Spirit. That's not a name. Kership.
You already have a name for him. Even...
Impressed?
The outline begins to...
Hello, her. If you're from the old...
A knot of tension. There is a wave of static crashes over the line.
Briefly, soon, I might have gathered. Good for you. You could say we're both servants. Sure, we'll go. Boo-hoo-hoo. That's what I say to that. Thank you for the update.
For a moment.
Temple assured...
Here it is. The side deal. First of several, potentially. A long...
I procured for Temple del Sur an extremely rare. It's a prototype for an... I would tell you all up. It's not easy to leave the Illuminated Empire. Temple promised he would call it. There's a ritual...
The phone line hit.
Apologies. Right, the reason you're here.
Minister of Mass Culture for Luluz. As of this year, estimated age, Halberd. Like all the opera...
To his friends, he's still just... They come and goes. Secret treaties, but... I asked the same question and received an electrical shock to the scrotum for my troubles. Now I don't ask questions. I just try to enjoy. Just one question.
What might have begun as an inhale of breath. The audio assault. Footsteps. Vanish. Now. You hear the upstairs door click open, even as you swoop towards the exit. Behind you, the electrical voice of the intercom starts to crackle again. Someone steps out onto the landing above. But you've already evaporated into thin ether. The shutter slams down behind you, with a muffled thud in the splash. Opera 1, Enter nil. An away game and everything. The assignment is not lost. You have critical information about your enemy's movements. Half the horoscope. Take it to your controller and let them all know. Cascade is back.
Looks like the shrimping is off for today, character.
I guess. The man and the young girl grimace at a barge that appears to be jammed between the canal wall.
Not sure. It seems to be stuck in the waterlock. We came here to do some shrimping. Yeah.
town.
His half-hooded eyes struggle to locate yours.
Very good. Let us commence.
He takes the on-tour from...
I hereby forgive thee and thee associate.
The veil is lifted.
Abracadabra.
Intriguing. The enemy reveals its advanced cognitive maneuvers.
The dark magic of personal finance works in mysterious ways.
Applauds at gunpoint.
Certainement. That is not who's counting, really? Ever. Liberalism can do anything.
He believes.
It has already taken effect. He who was once lame can now walk. Well, that is, of course, a secret.
Lap in the air like a giant child's tongue.
Sign an agreement by both parties. No. To commune with the prophet.
Could have guessed that was coming.
Again. Now you understand. If you insist. Wonder.
The senior...
Now, treaties and secrets. I presume you're familiar with...
The master treaty that ended history and stagnated. With the cessation of war between great powers, spies became the new soldiers. A twilight ascendancy.
I think the people believed that for, about a year. 95 later, no one's taken in. This secret treaty that Emter has brought to Luce. It's another piece of scaffold. It is. It must be. La Luz have started up military action again. We're going to shut all that down. No more fighter jets, no more aircraft carriers, no more little a free peek in the girls' changing rooms, of course. A dalliance with the developed...
Exchanging one front for another. No physical war, just a cultural one.
Apparently, some tete-a-tete time with the Minister of Mass Culture.
Grand Lich confirmed and triangulated.
A few cries of dissent amongst the military hardliners, yes. At Reno's pied-à-terre, the city's true seat of power. I don't know. Gaps in the schedule, unclear times of arrival. Oscar and Freddy are getting played, and played hard. Metamoto is just the maintenance man, sent in to check the oldest part of the house, see if it'll hold. Another. I do, yes. Bringing them into the developed world won't make that much difference. Not ashamed to admit, I was quite moved by some of the recent electropop offerings. Very covetable, strong appreciating asset. And you never know. The mood. Reno's eyes have swiveled towards lunar assets. He is hosting the secret treaties in exchange for these cosmic, where they've been for the last century, loitering outside the party they can't get into. Goodbye. Be well.
Did you find an empty person? A right of forgiveness? What does that mean for the scene? Okay. Extremely big news for the scene. But wow, is this how it usually works? I guess so. But I really don't know how I feel about that anymore. On the scene. I am very grateful for you helping me out of this bind. The scene was on the verge of collapse. I'm thinking of broadening my horizons and those of the scene. Not just looking towards the future, but also the past. Further than the now. Economic realities have got me agitated. The fate of the scene hangs in the balance. Time is out of joint. The future has become now. Tomorrow, it haunts the Palace of Culture. Communism of the historic kind. I'm going to go to the Palace of Culture to investigate all of the threads and fads that happened before my time. Yes, the big rundown building over there. This confusion with money tells me that I've been a communist all along. Thanks for all your help. See you when I see you. On the scene.
Back again, are we? Is that really the criterion by which you want to dress? Its value? Go on, tell me why.
Most people who come to me, they say they want an expensive suit. I tell them, the price of the suit doesn't matter, so long as the person wearing it is high value. So, why do you want the suit? Very well.
He disappears into the den.
All right, I've compiled some pieces that might give us a place to start.
Blocks of earth-tone sweat. The trousers are tailored. The shoes are the most striking element of the outfit. They say I'm corporate. There's no doubt about it. This is a power suit. You can't picture yourself wearing this. If this style was empty, you'll just have to make the best of it.
This is what's there for you. Well then. Turn your head to the left. Perhaps you really could fit in with the high-value class. You have the structure for it.
Inherited from your mother. The only decent thing she ever actually gave you.
My regards to your parents. There's a certain way that those people carry themselves. It's the way I want everyone to look in my clothes. Effortless, free and easy, under no pressure at all. If you want the suit for less money, you must embody this. Yes, you understand. You'll need to prepare. It may take some time, the body needs to recover. Get a good night's sleep. Drink a fancy coffee. Smoke an expensive...
If you want to look like a person who can handle pressure, you'll need to reduce your own.
Of course you will.
Operin, there's a fax in the output tray of that accursed machine. It seems important.
Important? There's only one way she could assess that.
Yes, I did. Apologies, I was momentarily overcome.
She gives you a small nod. Caught out for her nosiness. She doesn't dare do anything else.
I'll be right here.
The fax machine hums faintly. Big ticket item about to hit the organ block. Opening bids already coming in by payphone. Party alley, west side. Who will we say is calling Operan? Below the scrawled text, a childlike drawing of a heart, coloured in red.
Everything in order? What are you doing? Oh dear.
Soon, but not as soon as you'd hoped. The paper is fully mulched up. You swallow with a...
So, is it bad news? Well, I'm just glad that thing's fine.
To this marked payphone then. It seems someone will be waiting for you on the other end. You turn away from the fax machine. You return to the work. You are not a craft. You approach your double's bedside. His breathing does not change. The bed welcome. The stillness of the room quietens your mind as you settle down.
Bagman's, the woman in her coffin, watchful eyes, a part of you left behind.
Back again, are we? Of course. You have... awful, still. Absolutely not. I can see the stress in your pores. I expect... Of course you will.
Pink paper tab is no bigger than a fingernail. One side is It's right there. And cock is often used interchangeably to mean both male chicken and pig. And yet you asked the question.
Back again, are we? Awful, still. Absolutely not. I can see the stress in your pores. I expect you to look effortless. This is what's there for you. Wear it with a certain fun. Well then, of course you will. Back again, are we? Awful, still. Of course you will.